So the last episode I showed you how to do a spatchcocked roasted chicken, and now we're going to take the scraps from the chicken and make a stock. And I do this in the morning because then I leave it on the stove on low heat for as long as possible, 10-12 hours. So some point tonight, 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'll take it off and strain it. But the first part of this process gets done in the morning. So here's what we have today. The trusted Chun knife, which I will make use of today. Celery. Sweet onion, I always use Vidalia onions for this. Carrots. We have a herb mixture from the store, and this is rosemary, sage, and thyme. Garlic. And then we have the scraps from the chicken. So, first things first, we need to do some chopping. So, this is very easy, just very rough chop. I take half the onion. I take some celery, three stalks. Wash them off. And we'll use about half of this bag of carrots. Okay, so first we're going to put the scraps in here. You can see in here. You don't want to have a massive lump. You want to kind of spread this out so that you know how much water to use. And water, really, you just want to cover everything in here with water. You don't want to use too much because then you won't get a real thick, rich stock. It'll be too liquidy. And some carrots. And we use a little bit of our herb mixture. Some thyme. And how about some rosemary? Okay. And also garlic. And here we'll use half of it. And we'll just keep the skin on. Okay, so now for the water. I'm going to make sure this gets nice and balanced out. Again, it's very important not to use too much water for this. I have used way too much water in past stocks, and what happens is it just doesn't come out as thick, doesn't have any flavor, doesn't even get the skin over it, the fat that you're looking for. The best result for stock is that you put it in the fridge, you check it the next day, and it has a consistency of Jell-O. That's what you're looking for. Okay, put the heat on high. What I want to do is get this to a boil and then reduce it to low. A lot of salt, pepper, and I throw in a couple bay leaves. Our stock has been cooking since 9:30 this morning, and it's now about 10:15, so it's been on low heat all day long, and it's ready to come off the heat. So I'll just show you real quick what we do here. Just turn it off. Everything is very hot. Even though it's low heat, I learned the hard way that this pot is scalding hot. Now, I do not have any sort of sophisticated setup here like an actual stock strainer. I just have this thing, so it gets a little dicey when I try to do this, but some stuff will come out. Okay. And basically I just let this strain for a few minutes. So now that we have our stock's been sitting in the fridge for 2 days, so it should be ready. I haven't checked it yet, so we're going to do the test. And we want to make sure that the stock has the consistency of Jell-O. And it's weird, it's like chicken Jell-O, but if it has that consistency, then we know we did it right. We got all the good collagen out of the bones, and we're ready to use it. So to make the chicken soup, I have already cut up some veggies. This is really basic. Onions, Vidalia onions, I love the sweet onions. Carrots, celery, and then chicken. And I'm using the thigh meat. Chicken thigh meat is much tastier than the breast. Breast meat is can dry out very quickly. It's very delicate. It's just much better to use as kind of like for sautéed chicken and things like that. Whereas the thigh meat is sort of like your working man of meat. There's a lot of fat, a lot of like stuff in it that you got to cut out. But after you do all that and you cook it up, it's very, very tasty. While we're waiting for that to heat up, I want to show you the stock. So here's what it looks like after sitting for 2 days. You can see that it gets this layer of fat on the top. And look at it jiggle. It's just like Jell-O, chicken Jell-O. It's exactly how we want it. So I'm going to add the onions. And this vegetable mix is a classic soup starter. It's called mirepoix, and I guess it's just sort of a basic Western flavor. But you'll find that a lot of soups and stews and things like that start with carrot, celery, and onions. What we do here is you don't want this layer of fat in the soup, and so come over here and I'll show you. We're just going to skim it off. Look at that. Let's see. That's perfect consistency. And of course, get this nice and soft. And you have thyme, rosemary, and sage. For the soup, I might use a little sage. I often will use rosemary as well. And add our chicken. And I wish you could smell this mirepoix. It just smells so good. It's so fragrant. I think it's something about the sweetness of the carrots with the celery. It's just a wonderful smell. So I'm just going to cut up some sage to add in there. And by the way, I don't really have measurements. I don't know really how much to add in terms of teaspoon or tablespoon. It's just by sight and taste. Add our sage. Ready to put in the stock. See, it's looking good. Got it on something of an aggressive heat. Now we'll add the stock. Pepper and salt left over. Get that in there. I'll bring that to a boil. And once it boils, I'll bring it down to low heat and let it simmer for just about a half hour. Now, with the chicken soup, I'll serve sort of those broad Pennsylvania Dutch egg noodles with it, so it almost becomes like a chunky chicken noodle soup. See? Soup and made some noodles. And so I'll just keep it on low to keep it hot, but to see how it looks. Serve some noodles. I'll put some butter on the noodles just to give them some more body. This soup is very chunky and hearty. And it really is great for the fall and winter, but I mean, we eat it anytime. There you go. That's the end result. It might need a little salt. I'll have to give it a taste. But that's it. So thank you for joining us for episode 2, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye.